The Go to Sleep Project. Jeff the Killer's dark origins in the dimly lit corners of the internet, where shadows dance and whispers echo, a chilling legend has taken hold. Jeff the Killer, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of those who dare to utter it. A tale of a young boy transformed into a monstrous killer, his sanity shattered, his face a grotesque mask of madness. But what if the truth is far more sinister than the whispered tales? What if the darkness that consumed Jeff was not born of a freak accident, but rather a deliberate act of malice? Tonight, we embark on a journey into the heart of this chilling legend, a twisted symphony of terror that will challenge everything you thought you knew about Jeff the Killer. But what if the truth is far more sinister than the whispered tales? What if the darkness that consumed Jeff was not born of a freak accident, but rather a deliberate act of malice? Tonight, we embark on a journey into the heart of this chilling legend, a twisted symphony of terror that will challenge everything you thought you knew about Jeff the Killer. Our story begins in an ordinary suburban neighborhood, where a young boy named Jeffrey Woods lived a seemingly normal life. He was a good student, a caring brother, a friend to many. But beneath the surface, a darkness lurked, a seed of violence waiting to germinate. He was always a bit different, whispers Mrs. Johnson, a neighbor, her voice trembling as she recalls her encounters with young Jeffrey. He had a look in his eyes, a darkness that made me uneasy. Jeffrey's parents, blinded by their love for their son, dismissed these concerns as the ramblings of an overprotective mother, but they were soon forced to confront the horrifying truth. One fateful night, Jeffrey and his brother Liu were attacked by a group of bullies. The confrontation escalated, and Jeffrey, fueled by a sudden surge of rage, lashed out with a ferocity that shocked even himself. He brutally attacked the bullies, his mind consumed by a bloodlust that he could not control. In the aftermath, Jeffrey's face was horribly disfigured, his skin bleached white, his lips stretched into a grotesque smile. He looked like a monster, Liu whimpered, his voice filled with terror and disbelief. The boy next door had vanished, replaced by a creature of pure evil. Jeffrey, now known as Jeff the Killer, embraced his new identity. He reveled in the fear he inspired, the pain he inflicted. He became a phantom of the night, preying on unsuspecting victims, his twisted laughter echoing through the quiet streets. His methods were brutal, his motives unclear. He left behind a trail of mutilated bodies, each one a testament to his depravity. His legend grew, spreading like wildfire across the internet, his name whispered in hushed tones by those who dared to speak of him. But what drove Jeff to such monstrous acts? Was it the trauma of the attack, the chemicals that scarred his face? Or was there something more sinister at play, a force that manipulated him from the shadows? "I saw him that night," says Liam, a former classmate, his voice hushed with fear. He wasn't just angry, he was possessed. It was like something else was controlling him. The Nightmare Maestro invites you to consider this chilling possibility that Jeff's transformation was not a random act of violence, but the culmination of a dark ritual, a twisted experiment gone horribly wrong. Whispers on the dark web speak of a secret organization, a group of occultists who sought to harness the power of human darkness. They experimented on unsuspecting victims, pushing them to the brink of madness in their quest for ultimate power. They called it the Go to Sleep Project, a cryptic message on an anonymous forum reveals. They believed that by unlocking the darkest corners of the human psyche, they could tap into a primal force that could reshape the world. Was Jeff the Killer their most successful creation? A living embodiment of their twisted ideals? The evidence is circumstantial, but the Nightmare Maestro implores you to consider the chilling implications. The story takes a sinister turn as Jeff sets his sights on a new victim, Katie, a young woman with a dark past and a hidden secret. Unbeknownst to her, she possesses a rare psychic ability, a connection to the spiritual realm that makes her a prime target for the organization's experiments. "I felt a presence watching me," Katie recalls, her voice trembling. "A cold, malevolent energy that seemed to seep into my dreams." Little does she know, her nightmares are about to become a horrifying reality. Jeff begins to stalk Katie, his presence a constant threat lurking in the shadows. He leaves cryptic messages, gruesome gifts, and chilling warnings. "Go to sleep," he whispers in her ear as she drifts off to sleep, his voice a chilling caress that sends shivers down her spine. Katie's fear escalates with each passing day, her once peaceful life spiraling into a living nightmare. She seeks help from the authorities, but they dismiss her claims as paranoia, unaware of the true danger that lurks in the shadows. Driven to the brink of madness, Katie turns to the dark web, seeking answers to the torment that plagues her. She stumbles upon the same anonymous forum that spoke of the Go to Sleep project, a chilling revelation that confirms her worst fears. "He's coming for me," she sobs, her voice filled with desperation. "They're all coming for me." But the dark web offers a glimmer of hope, a connection to others who have been targeted by the organization. A group of survivors, scarred and broken, but determined to fight back against the darkness. In the darkest corners of the web, Katie finds solace in a community of survivors, each bearing the scars of the organization's experiments. They call themselves the Sleepless, a network of individuals who have witnessed the horrors firsthand and refuse to be silenced. "We are not victims," a masked figure known only as the Watcher declares in a distorted voice. "We are warriors. We will expose their evil and bring them to justice." Through encrypted messages and clandestine meetings, Katie learns the organization's true purpose: to unleash a wave of terror upon the world, using their twisted creations to sow chaos and despair. Jeff the Killer is not merely a pawn in the organization's game, but a masterpiece in the making. His every act of violence, every whispered "go to sleep," is part of a grand design, a symphony of terror conducted by unseen hands. "They are using him as a weapon," the Watcher explains, "a catalyst to awaken the darkness within humanity. They believe that by unleashing chaos, they can reshape the world in their image." The organization's ultimate goal is to create an army of Jeffs, each one a vessel of pure evil, ready to carry out their twisted bidding. Armed with this knowledge, Katie and the Sleepless prepare for a final confrontation. They lure Jeff to an abandoned warehouse, a desolate battleground where the fate of humanity hangs in the balance. "Tonight," Katie declares, her voice filled with righteous fury, "we end this reign of terror. We will not let them control us any longer." The battle that ensues is a symphony of violence and chaos, a clash between the forces of light and darkness. Jeff, his senses heightened by the organization's experiments, is a formidable opponent. He moves with lightning speed, his bleached white face a mask of pure evil. But the Sleepless are prepared. They have studied his patterns, learned his weaknesses. They fight with a desperation born of survival, their determination fueled by a desire for justice. In the heart of the chaos, Katie confronts Jeff, her psychic abilities flaring to life. She delves into his mind, uncovering the truth behind his transformation. "You are not a monster, Jeff," she whispers, her voice reaching into the depths of his tormented soul. "You are a victim, a pawn in a twisted game." Her words pierce through the darkness that has consumed him, a sliver of light penetrating the depths of his despair. For a moment, the madness in his eyes flickers, replaced by a glimmer of recognition. But the organization's hold on him is too strong. With a guttural roar, Jeff breaks free from Katie's grasp and disappears into the night. In the aftermath of the battle, Katie and the Sleepless regroup, licking their wounds and mourning their losses. But their victory is short-lived. "He's still out there," Katie whispers, her voice filled with dread. "He's still their weapon." The Nightmare Maestro reveals a chilling truth. The organization, realizing Jeff's potential as an agent of chaos, has doubled down on their efforts to control him. They bombard him with twisted stimuli, warping his mind and pushing him further into the abyss of madness. Jeff's killings become more frequent, more brutal. His once human features contort into a grotesque parody of a smile, his eyes burning with an insatiable bloodlust. He is no longer just a killer. He is a force of nature, a storm of violence unleashed upon the world. Liu, Jeff's brother, racked with guilt and despair, seeks out Katie. He begs her to help his brother to find a way to reach the boy trapped within the monster. He's not completely lost, Liu pleads, his voice choked with emotion. I know there's still a part of him that remembers love, that remembers family. Please, Katie, you have to save him. Katie, torn between her fear of Jeff and her compassion for Liu, agrees to help. But she knows the risks. She is venturing into the darkest corners of Jeff's mind, a twisted labyrinth where madness reigns supreme. Katie uses her psychic abilities to enter Jeff's mind, a terrifying dreamscape filled with distorted images and haunting memories. She witnesses the trauma of his past, the pain and anger that fueled his transformation. But she also sees glimpses of the boy he once was, the innocent child who loved his family and dreamed of a normal life. Jeff, Katie whispers, her voice echoing through the mental landscape, I'm here to help you. You don't have to be this way. A flicker of recognition crosses Jeff's eyes, a momentary break in the madness, but it is fleeting, quickly replaced by the familiar rage and bloodlust. Go to sleep, he snarls, his voice a guttural growl. You're just another victim, another sacrifice to the darkness. Katie refuses to give up. She fights back against the darkness, her psychic powers clashing with Jeff's twisted mind. A battle of wills ensues, a struggle for control over Jeff's very soul. You're not a monster, Jeff, Katie insists, her voice a beacon of hope in the darkness. You are a human being, capable of love and compassion. Fight back against the evil that controls you. Deep within Jeff's tortured psyche, a spark of humanity remains. It is a faint ember, flickering in the face of overwhelming darkness, but with Katie's help, it can be nurtured, fanned into a flame that can consume the evil that has taken hold of him. In a world bathed in shadow, where evil wears a chilling grin, a flicker of hope emerges. Katie, through sheer force of will and compassion, creates a fissure in Jeff's fractured mind. For the first time since his horrific transformation, he sees not the reflection of a monster, but the remnants of a boy lost in a storm. I remember, Jeff stammers, his voice raspy from disuse. Liu, Mom, Dad. The memories flood back, bittersweet fragments of a life stolen by darkness. Laughter in a sunlit backyard, a shared comic book under the covers, the warmth of a mother's embrace. But the organization's grip tightens, a discordant chord shattering the fragile melody of hope. Their influence surges, injecting him with fresh waves of agony and rage. A war erupts within Jeff's mind, a battle for his very soul. Katie, through her psychic connection, witnesses the mental maelstrom raging within Jeff. The organization's influence manifests as monstrous figures, whispering poisonous lies and stoking the flames of his fury. But Katie fights back, her empathy a weapon against the darkness. She projects images of love, of family, of the life that Jeff could have if he breaks free from their control. Jeff's screams echo through the mindscape, a chilling symphony of pain and confusion. His body writhes in agony, his scarred face contorted in a battle against the forces that seek to consume him. In a moment of lucidity, Jeff's eyes flicker with recognition. He sees Katie not as a victim, but as a lifeline, a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. Help me, he pleads, his voice barely a whisper. Please, help me. It is a plea that tears at Katie's heart, a cry for help from a soul drowning in a sea of madness. She reaches out with her mind, her touch a soothing balm on his tortured psyche. But the organization's influence is relentless, a constant barrage of negativity that threatens to extinguish the fragile spark of hope. Time is running out. Can Katie pull Jeff back from the brink before he is lost forever? The Sleepless, sensing a shift in the balance of power, launch their final assault on the organization's hidden compound. A symphony of chaos erupts, a clash between good and evil, light and darkness. In the heart of the chaos, Katie and Jeff stand side by side, their bond a beacon of defiance against the encroaching shadows. Jeff, his strength fueled by a newfound purpose, fights with a ferocity that surprises even himself. But the organization has one final, desperate card to play. they unleash their most twisted creation yet, a monstrous abomination known as the Smiling Man, a being of pure darkness designed to consume all hope. The Smiling Man, a grotesque mockery of human form, descends upon the warehouse, its laughter a discordant symphony of madness. Its elongated limbs contort and twist, its razor-sharp teeth gleaming in the dim light. Katie and Jeff, united in their defiance, stand their ground. The sleepless rally around them, their weapons a motley assortment of makeshift tools and sheer willpower. A battle of epic proportions erupts, a clash of wills between those who embrace the darkness and those who fight for the light. The air is thick with the stench of blood and fear, the ground trembling beneath the weight of the struggle. The Smiling Man proves to be a formidable foe, its power seemingly limitless. It tears through the sleepless, its laughter echoing through the warehouse as it claims victim after victim. Katie, her psychic abilities pushed to their limits, senses a weakness in the creature's defenses. But to exploit it, she must make a sacrifice, a choice that will forever alter her fate. She reaches out to Jeff with her mind, offering him the last remnants of her strength, a final surge of love and compassion. "Jeff," she whispers, her voice barely audible above the din of battle, "this is your chance. Take it. Embrace the light." With a final, heart-wrenching cry, Katie channels all her energy into Jeff, her body collapsing as her spirit merges with his. A turning point is revealed, a crescendo of hope in the midst of despair. The influx of Katie's pure, loving energy ignites a spark within Jeff, a flicker of humanity that had long been dormant. His eyes, once filled with madness, now shine with a newfound clarity. The grotesque smile fades, replaced by an expression of determination and resolve. With a roar that shakes the very foundations of the warehouse, Jeff turns on the Smiling Man, his rage now fueled by love and a thirst for justice. The battle reaches its climax, the symphony of light and darkness clashing in a final, desperate struggle. Jeff, empowered by Katie's sacrifice, unleashes a torrent of fury upon the Smiling Man, his every blow a strike against the evil that has plagued him for so long. The warehouse becomes a whirlwind of chaos, the air thick with dust and the metallic clang of weapons. But in the end, it is Jeff who emerges victorious, his blood-stained hands clutching the remnants of the Smiling Man's shattered form. In the aftermath, Jeff stands alone amidst the wreckage, his body scarred, his soul battered. But there is a new light in his eyes, a glimmer of hope that was once thought lost forever. He cradles Katie's lifeless body in his arms, his tears mingling with the blood that stains her clothes. He whispers a final goodbye, a promise to honor her sacrifice and use his newfound strength to protect others from the darkness that still lingers in the world. As the Nightmare Maestro concludes this symphony of terror and redemption, he leaves you with a question. Can a monster truly be transformed? Can love conquer even the darkest of hearts? Perhaps the answer lies within each of us, in the eternal struggle between light and darkness that rages within our souls.